So, hello, namaste, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening in whichever part of the world you are joining us from. My name is Deepak R. Khemani, and I am one of the co founders of Bloom. Bloom is the brainchild of Miss Payal Irani. Bloom is a flower that has blossomed and is spreading its fragrance across the globe. At Bloom, we are into physical and mental wellness, trainings, speaking engagements, and creating signature workshops for corporates and individuals desirous of going to the next level. Bloom has a team which has been handpicked. They are the who's who in their respective domains, having an accumulated 200 plus years of experience in their own field. We strongly believe in co creation, collaboration, and teamwork. I invite each and every one of you to be a part of Bloom, where together we grow, and as Bloom blossoms, it creates ripples the world over. My co host today, Dr. Neeta Matre Mishra, is the CEO of Reach Out and is one of the co founders of Bloom.
Thank you, Deepak sir. Thank you very, very much.
On the occasion of Valentine's Day, we have today with us Dr. Suhani Mendondsa and Dr. Vivek Mendondsa of Lawrence and Mayo fame. Thank you, Dr. Suhani and Dr. Vivek, for joining us for gracing our platform. As is our tradition, last year also on Valentine's Day, we had couples who graced our show. Today also, we have this unique and dynamic couple duo. What I would like to do is, normally I take this time and introduce the guest. But since we have a couple today, what we will do is, we will ask Dr. Sohani to introduce Dr. Vivek to us, and then we will ask Dr. Vivek to introduce Dr. Sohani to us, and then tell us our life story. Please go ahead, Sohani, you first.
Uh, a very, very good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone who's joined us and to everyone who's watching us. A big thank you to Bloom for having us here. Thank you, Deepak, and thank you, Dr. Neeta, and to the wonderful Pal Irani for having us here today. Well, it's indeed my honor, and you've asked me to introduce the love of my life. So I think that's absolutely extremely difficult because just to introduce him in few words will be very, very difficult for me, but I'm going to try my best. I'm just going to introduce as to what Vivek does. So here is my beloved husband, my friend, my one and all, Dr. Vivek Mendonsa, Group Director, Lawrence and Mayo, trustee, Mendondsa Foundation, and he is a part of a whole lot of other organizations. But I think I'm truly blessed that he is a part of my life because every step of the way, I am the better me when I am with we.
Thank you. So, Doctor, now it's my turn. So, but I'll start with the life story, or I'll give you the two crisp sentences of Suhani,
Yeah, that'd be better.
my better half. So, Suhani is a multifaceted person, and she's bubbly, full of life, and loves to meet and interact with people. And we met at the age of 16, and we are 52 plus now. So
Wow.
I know her strengths, and we complement each other so well. So things what she doesn't like to do, she gives me, and vice versa. Things which I don't like to do, like writing project reports, I give her to do.
So,
So
so just one correction. We are 51 and not 52. We are going to turn 52. That's very important for a woman.
Ladies will definitely take that 1 year off from that age. Always.
Dr. Suhani and Dr. Vivek,
Yeah.
first of all, welcome to Bloom and welcome to this amazing day of where we're going to talk about love, where we want people to believe in love, where people to understand what love is, and especially the millennials today, where they are understanding a love in a very different segment. It's fine what they understand, but it's also understand that love is much beyond that. And with that, I would be opening my statement with Paulo Coelho's favorite quote, and I think it really goes with you all. I love you because the entire universe conspired to help me to find you. And
very
I
true.
think this is really the thing which is for both of you, because when you say that you started love at the age of 16, that is the teens, which people normally don't believe the teenagers, because teens is like, oh, where can they take a decision? And the journey from teen to 50 is really a remarkable and a blissful journey. And I understand that relationships is like an ECG graph, the ups, downs. You cannot have a straight line. Straight line is stagnation, straight line is death. So, seeing this journey of ups and downs, we open the platform to both of you where you could share all your ups and downs, which you feel is relevant to the audience today. And all yours to both the couples today. Please take over.
Thank you so much, Dr. Neeta. That was wonderfully said by you. Well, I am quickly going to brief you through I mean, our entire life would be, as I said, difficult, but whatever, has really made us what we are today. I think that's what, love is all about, you see. So I met Vivek when I was all of 16 in Sydenham College. And yet remember, it was a Hindi lecture, and we have both had taken Hindi in the 11th standard. And he told me, I asked him, what's your name? So he said, my name's Vivek Mendondsa. And I'm like, Vivek and Mendondsa, okay. And then he asked me my name. So I said, I'm Suhani. And then I asked him, can I ask you questions? He said, yeah. I said, how come Vivek Mendondsa? So then he told me how his grandfather used to believe in Vivekananda. And since Vivek was the first grandchild, the grandson of the family, he was named Vivek. So that's where we struck a chord. And that's how our wonderful journey started from the age of 16. Yes, as a couple, as a family now, we've been through a whole lot of ups and downs, but that's the joy of life. That's the adventure that we've had, which has been absolutely amazing. We have two wonderful sons. My older son is 24, my younger son is 21. Both of them were born with congenital issues. My older one has had almost 7 surgeries. My younger one has had more than 5 surgeries. And yet, I think every day of our lives, Vivek and me thank God for what He gave us, because we are what we are today because of what He gave us. And this man out here has stood, has been the pillar of my strength. And I'm truly blessed to have him in my life. Over to you.
Thank you. So, I think a message to the youth of our country and of the world is that they don't have clarity. And of course, at that age of 16, not many people can be blessed to have clarity. And we were peers in the same college, similar subjects. and traveling from Kafre to Churchgate, a lot of common friends. And we had a good understanding amongst ourselves. There were many things. Suhani hates reading the newspaper. So I used to read, even in those days, two newspapers. Now they've gone up to five, and I would tell her the headlines and everything. But she would never read the like to know about the sports section, but I never read anything about sports. So she would read up about the sports and tell me after 2 3 days, because she couldn't tell me the current sports things. So we traveled together. We had a lot of classes. And that really helped us to bond. We did a lot of projects together. We were part of a youth wing which was started by me, Kulaba Kafpred Citizens Group. And we planted trees together, did Ganpati Visarjan, blood donation, and spent a lot of time. In those days, blessed to have a large house and lovely parents, we would invite about between 25, 30 to 40 youth together to our house every Friday, have prominent speakers come. So 5 years in college gave us a strong foundation to understand each other and spend time and do a lot of activities together. And once that foundation is built and there's clarity, then the blocks ahead, whatever the challenges are, the whirlwinds, the cyclones, the all can be all easily sort of encountered and be faced together. So, ego can be defined as edging God out. Suhani and I, and we're going public not once but many times before, in the last 26 years or even 8 years, 34 years, have had few, you can count on your fingers, disagreements. No fights ever. So the reason because of that is, if she is upset, irritated on something, I just maintain a helpfulness, not a quietness, not a blank expression, and vice versa. When because I have a lot of stress of traveling, of business work, and we have a family group. The day I've had a bad day in the office, so some things have not worked out. I just message on the family group, so everyone stays back. Now coming to earnings, you have touched a very sensitive topic. Qualifications is first one thing. Always couples, I see them argue and fight because I'm more qualified and you're less qualified. So I'm the superior in the relationship and you're the inferior, and could be vice versa. I've seen there are cases where the male is not so well qualified and the lady or the wife is more qualified. I've seen cases where the wife is earning much more than the husband, and I'm on vice versa. So we have our own separate bank accounts. We also have joint bank accounts, and being open. I think even during this pandemic, we all as directors at Lawrence and Mio took a salary cut, gave the minimum cut to our employees. We have 1,250 employees. Employees below a certain price salary did not receive any cut because the directors took the maximum cut in their salary. I immediately, in March itself, called for a meeting in the family. We have a group, explained to them the situation, and our children were so sensitive. Immediately, they said what was unnecessary to buy or to spend, they cut it off. It is the values which we sort of transpire into our next generation. They watch us very carefully and we watch them. Peer pressure is also something. Recently, I had a guest from out of town, and I have a company. My company has given me two cars, a Toyota Fortuner and a Figo. The other Fortuner had gone out with another general manager, and he had to sit in my car Figo. And he says, Dr. Mendondsa, why you don't have a BMW or Audi or Mercedes Benz? So I said, I'm a very practical person. I need four wheels, a driver and a steering wheel, brake and accelerator to get me from point A to point B. So society also, the minute you dwell too much on society and live as per expectation of society, it causes immense amount of pressure, and that havoc creates a havoc in your relationship. So just if you're not humble, you will stumble. That's my mantra. Over to Swani.
Well, Vivek put it very well, that humility, I think, plays a huge role in in everyone's life. And yes, in a relationship, I think where money is concerned, a lot of arguments happened. A lot of couples keep on fighting about what your earnings are, what my. So I remember when I got married to Vivek, I very clearly told him that your money is your money and my money is my money. You don't look at what I have and I don't look at what you have. So he was absolutely, he said, are you really saying that? Because normally all women say, your money is your money and my money is your money. Everything is mine, So I think that's, I guess from a very young age, I was extremely independent and financially independent too. So I think that's something which continued with me. So I really want to reach out and tell everyone that each one should be financially independent and be self-supporting, never be um, never have that kind of a feeling that you need someone to support you. Just support yourself and you'll be the happiest. And in fact, reach out to other people and support them. That will also make them happy too. So it's always nice, Why is it that it always the man has to bear the brunt of looking after the family? Even the woman can, right? Because I guess we have it all in us. So this is what I would like to share with you.
I so agree that my money is my money, your money is your money, and it is also okay to change the patriarchal. It's always
Absolutely.
okay. It's
Absolutely.
not necessary that we have to follow certain norms, because life is not the same what it is today and what it was being presented to us years back.
Yes, very
Now,
true.
coming to my last question, and then I hand it over to Deepak sir. So, there, when we did speak about finances, there is also one part where the couple at times, when it comes to making decisions, or when it comes to making a self decision, how would you team up, or how would you individually take decisions?
So, I think first I would like to talk on finances because I mentor a lot of college students. I want to give you quick three examples. A young entrepreneur who was struggling in his finance wanted to buy a second-hand car just to impress his family and neighbors. He didn't even have a place to park the car. I said, no, don't go for it. I know a lady who's having a tough time but wanted to afford, put money together, break other financial instruments to buy a Louis Vuitton bag, much beyond expectation. And third example is of a bank assistant manager of a prominent bank taking 3 and 4 EMI loans simultaneously to take her parents abroad to UAE, Singapore, Hong Kong, Bangkok, and so many places and messed up her life. So these are three different age groups, and we have always utilized the efforts of our CFP, Certified Financial Planner, Divesh Bhai. In fact, we must be a rare family where we have a family group with our financial planner. We have a rule that any amount above 10,000 rupees by anybody, it could be my two sons, Suhani or me, or going on a foreign vacation, which could be twice or thrice in a year. We do not take any decision without asking Divesh Bhai on it. And he comes to our house. We budget everything in detail: air tickets, hotel stay, shopping, everything is budgeted. And if we are able to save, he gives us bonuses for our next trip. And so that really helps us. So once finances are in order and you're disciplined and follow it and write down your expenses on a day-to-day basis, that's now coming to emotional aspects for taking decisions together. We have got our elder boy is 24, going to be 25. Krish, who's 21, is going to be 22 very shortly. And they've got different, they're born only 7 days apart. And we've got different mindsets and different hobbies and interests. So we've got different varied things. One wants to eat non-vegetarian, one is a vegetarian. And we listen to them. I don't think consensus decision always works. It sounds good in textbooks and leadership books. Sometimes we have to be a little bullish and carry everyone with you. But consensus does not always work because you get into a lock jam, and then there is no there's a decision paralysis, right? And nothing is being then decided. So you need to sometimes take certain decisions. Many occasions when we have guests over, if I give enough time to Suwani, then she right from the menu, getting the house organized. So there are some times. Let me share a story since we have got so many prominent people. When our children were growing up, Suhani had to go. She was been running an event company, and she was. I came home late by about half an hour, 45 minutes. Suhani was completely ready in her beautiful outfit, leaving out. She just trusted one of the boys in my hands and walked out of the house. When she came back after 3 hours in the kids' room, there were three people sleeping, not three. There were. I was fast asleep, sprawled out with my office clothes, tie lowered down. One of the boys was still awake and the other boy was sleeping. So two of us sleeping and the third. And she nicely, kindly woke me up and says, Vivek, you were supposed to put both the boys to sleep. You are asleep, but one of the boys is still awake. So taking really sharing the responsibility that she can also have a packed day. There are so many occasions when she has more appointments than me. I can't just ring her up when I want. I'm expected to pick up the call in the third ring. So all that doesn't work. You have to have an understanding that a woman's diary or a busyness could be much more than a man's, and it's an equal world, right? So we are happy to say that. And even in our company we have 4 lady directors and 4 male directors. So even the board, even before the company law board gives you advice that you have to have minimum 2 lady directors, we have gone to 50% lady directors. Over to you, Suhani.
So I am going to share a wonderful anecdote with you all. So as Vivek mentioned, yes, I have my events company, which apparently due to the lockdown, due to the entire pandemic, for 1 year, we suffered a lot of losses. So we had to shut it down for the time being. But then, I used to actually do a whole lot of events together. So there was this one occasion where I had to travel. I was going to Thailand, Novi, to Thailand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just traveling for a wedding out there, and I had two other events which were happening. It was part of wedding functions which I was doing it, and there was a whole lot of coordination to be done. So I had asked Vivek very sweetly. I said, "Look, we, I have to travel, but I want to do these events too. It's just that one day I'm not there. Then I'll come back and do the rest. So if you don't mind, please, can you help me with the coordination? I'll give you everything, or I'll write down everything for you. You don't have to do anything. You just follow it. So Vivek, being the supportive husband.
No, no, no. She asked me to take leave from work. That was the first reason and the first criteria. So I said, okay, I'll take leave from Lawrence Simeo for one
Just
full day.
one day. Actually, not even one day. It was half a day. Okay,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
because the evening onwards the function starts. So half a day he had to take the leave, and very sweetly he agreed. Okay, didn't know what he was getting into, but the support that he gave me, believe me, that one day he went completely crazy because he had vendors calling from all over. Someone wanted a gate pass,
No,
someone
let me say, let me say. So the event was at US Club,
two
and
events happening
and another
simultaneously.
event some other place,
Yeah.
and we had to organize the flower person, dholak, people stuck at the gate, ringing up. I was receiving 40 calls in an hour, every hour 40 calls. And as the time was progressing closer to the time, the call rate of calls, and there were call waits happening. And then occasionally Suhani would call me from overseas asking me how things going. So I've been hired by Suhani for that half day. Following that example, my son Jay decided to hire me for 2 days for making some menu for a restaurant. He says, you're going to wear these simple clothes, no suit, no jacket, no Lawrence Simeo card. And he took me to the lanes and by-lanes of fort, which I've never been to before. Made me have cutting chai, sit in odd places on wooden benches, got a lot of work done till 11 o'clock in the morning. Next day started at 7:30, and we delivered really world-class menus to a beautiful lodge, I think in Karjat, where his menu of 40 handmade menu cards were delivered on time. So I've been an employee for my 20, that time. This happened 3 years ago. So he was only about 18 or 19, 19 years of age.
Yeah, but just the reason why I shared this with you all, that if you see, when people meet with Vivek, they are so amazed by him. And when people meet me and they tell me, "Oh, you're Vivek Mendondsa's wife. You're a very lucky woman." That's the first thing they tell me when they come to know that I'm Vivek's wife, right? So I just want to share that even though he's the group director of Lawrence and Mayo, he took out time to see to it that my work does not get hampered, to be the support which he promised many years ago to me. And he was there. right there besides me all the time. So I could go abroad, I could do my wedding there, and I could handle these two events here. And when I came back, I did the entire function for the weddings that I had taken up. But I could do this. Why? Because I had the faith that Vivek is there with me. I had the support that Vivek is there with me. So that's I think extremely important. You know that.
That I would like to share also, we got married in the Narayan temple and the Fairas, which all the Hindu couples take. But unfortunately, many of the couples don't know the Sanskrit or don't understand the Sanskrit. In the Christian or the Roman Catholic, the vows are in English and much easier to say and to understand. And those vows actually mean a lot. That through thick and thin, you have to be together through sickness,
Through
through
health.
health, through poverty, through the richness and things. And those 4 5 lines, I often tell Suhani that between the three of them, Jay 7 operations, Krish 5 operations, Suhani 3. That's 15 operation. Every hour outside the operation theater, I would have lost 1 liter of blood in worrying and praying so much. So 15 hours of minimum, and each of those operations were long, just being birthing. So there are a lot of couples which they, if they have children with deformities, want to send them for adoption. They want to walk out of the marriage. It's not always, as Dr. Nita explained, it's not a blank or a flat ECG. There are ups and downs every single day. When it's a good time, just grab it, enjoy it. When there's some bad time, prepare for it, plan for the if there is no rain, and through the ups and downs, when there's sun and when there is no sun also, and when things look gloomy and there are gray clouds.
And when you ever have to take an important decision, take it together always. Communicate, express your thoughts, express your views, and take it together. And please, just because he's your husband or just because she's your wife, do not take them for granted. Everyone has their days. Sometimes they are stressed, sometimes they're happy, sometimes they're sad, sometimes they are just pulling out their hair for whatever the reason may be. But give that little leeway to your partner and try to understand them. Believe me, you will never have an argument, you will never have a fight. I feel that really, really helps.
Thank you, Dr. Suhani. Thank you, Dr. Vivek, for sharing these real life moments of yours. I just want to take off from where you left, Dr. Vivek. How did you finally manage to convince that Gujarati Hitler?
That's a good question. Good question.
So again, clarity of thought or purpose before action is something I've learned from Mr. Manak Singh. Once I was done with Symbiosis, my postgraduate diploma in marketing management, I had previously spent some time in London with my father and just walking on the sidewalks. I told him, Dad, I finished schooling, college, optometry, and now Symbiosis. I am clear. I want to go to the next step. And I have found my soul mate, and but he guessed it was Suhani, but he wanted to hear it from me. So on the sidewalks of London, I told him it was Suhani. Then I came back from London, not much jet lag. Suhani was working in the stock exchange in HT Nanavati, and I in a small Irani cafe near the Kala Goda, which had lovely red and white tablecloths, is the time where I proposed to Suhani. And I said, Suhani, it's high time. I gave her a box of chocolates from London. And I told her we should take our relationship now to the next level. You know what she did? Something all the participants will get a shock. She burst out laughing. So men usually go on their knees and present a rose and have some few lines written, sometimes copied from the internet. I said something very authentically from my heart, and I did not know. And then she's telling me my lunch break is coming to a close very soon. So I was left with some, I think, patties on the table with some chai and sitting over there, not knowing whether it was yes or no. But I guessed as much it was a yes. So that was battle number one. Then was battle to meet Hitler.
Yeah.
I took the. Let me tell you that a lot of 1 rupee coins in those STD booths were spent. Because every time he picked up the phone,
Down.
his hello. I would put the phone down. Only I knew the maid servant, her mom very well, her brother and sister. So when they would pick up, then I would be able to get direct connection. It's like going through the operator or PA and the PS to reach the Suhani Mendondsa now, but Kotwala at that time. And finally, my father, mom, and myself, after my symbiosis results came out, in fact, we carried a
No,
photocopy.
wait. I need to interrupt
Okay,
you.
go
I
ahead.
really need to interrupt you. He's forgotten one bit of it, you know. So my dad was not for it at all. Okay. He was very worried. His concern, very simple. I think what every father would go through. He told me, Suhani, from one Gujarati family household, if you go to get married to another, Hindu or a Gujarati family household, you have so many adjustments to make. Here you're talking of a absolute, completely, different religion. How are you going to deal with it? You know, and in those days, I think a conditioning was such that once you get married, there is no return policy. Literally, my parents were very clear. So in those days, we were conditioned as such. We were brought up with these values that once you get married, finished. That's it. So I remember I have an older sister, okay, and she's very close to my father. So I used to get on the call with her almost every day, in the lunchtime, because ever since Vivek asked me, for this entire thing to take the relationship to the next level, and I was like, how is my dad going to deal with it? And my mom, Bichari, had become like a sandwich between me and my father, to take the father's side or to take the daughter's side. So my older sister, she was the one who spoke to my dad a couple of times, and one of my cousin brothers, he spoke to my dad a couple of times, and my sister had a meeting with Vivek also, and
We knew each
each
other,
other,
and
yeah.
she was obviously observing me, seeing my good qualities, bad qualities, and everything like that. And being an engineer, she was very logical about it.
Yeah,
The engineers are usually very logical.
yeah.
So she had already made notes. She was working in TCS, so she had already done a performance appraisal, and as submitted to Hitler to go through it in much detail.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
hence two engineers. He's also a part engineer, so I think
yeah.
they were able to influence each other.
And my mom was always for Vivek. She used to always adore him a lot. And
So won my mother-in-law's heart is because in the first Diwali I landed up at Suhani's house. She was making malai khaja,
yeah,
and
sitting on the floor and
in,
making
in the
malai
in the kitchen.
khajas in the
So
kitchen.
I very promptly, innocent of me also, there was no the internet in those age. I also pulled up my trousers and sat down on the floor and started helping her making it. And I insisted as soon as they went into the frying pan, she would put some little
Sugar.
sugar onto them, the hot malai khaja, that I would allow them to cool, and 2, 3 had to go immediately in my mouth. That was my condition to help her. So she knew that I can't bully this to-be son-in-law too much. And she gave me a lot of housework, and I was very comfortable in, both of us were comfortable in each other's house and going each other. The relatives were already knew about it. And I've got my dear friend Manish Malhotra, not the designer, but equally a designer who's logged on, and he knows a lot of authentic stories about both of us. And Mr. Ramesh Daswani, a close family friend, is also here.
Yeah. So
So
I
what?
guess,
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I,
Please,
yeah.
please, please continue. Please continue.
Yeah, so I guess this is how, it all happened. And
Yeah.
finally, Hitler got convinced. And Vivek,
Mm.
yeah, finally, after all, it was exactly 3 months that it took
Let
Hitler
me
to.
also share my innocence. When those 40 relatives were sitting in Suhani's Jupiter house, I was just answering the question on the left. Yes, then little after about 1.5 hour, or maybe a little less, I looked up, they had done an entire musical chair around me. And the person who started with me had reached again the end of the line. Then I knew after 1.5 hours, I've covered all the 40. I- and all the questions were quite different. Some were asking me highly technical questions about my business, many things which I was hardly 24 years old, 2 years into the business, and was yet to grasp. But I said, wow, this is like a tough, 40 people group discussion.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, but I think once, my dad actually said, okay, fine, he told me, he actually, had this conversation with me, and he said, look, this is your decision, you know, you were completely responsible for it, but don't come back crying to me. He told me that. I'll
Mm.
never forget that.
Yeah.
And Vivek, Vivek's dad did something, something which I have never forgotten my entire life. On his birthday, he came to my house to ask for my hand, and it's a very special moment for me because September 3rd is the date that Vivek and me started going around. So we celebrated more than our wedding anniversary. And 4th of September is Vivek's dad's birthday. And on his birthday, Vivek's mom, Vivek's dad, and Vivek came to the house. And the way he beautifully put it to my father, that he's saying that today is my birthday, and Rashmi is my dad's name. Hitler's name is Rashmi. So he said, Rashmi, uh, today I want a present from you, but before I give you the present, I want to give you a present too. So I want Suhani, your daughter, to be my daughter, and I want my son, Vivek, to be your son.
Yes.
I think that was the most amazing thing what dad said.
Yeah. Yeah, that is why we need parents. In
Yes.
the days of instant noodles and 2-minute marriages and even faster divorces, which
True.
are possible nowadays, stories like yours, come like a breath of fresh air. This is the story that needs to go out to today's youngsters. That marriage is not about getting married and then moving into your house of your own, and the day you have a argument or a disagreement, you file for divorce, and in 10 years you married 5 times and you are still looking for that perfect partner.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah. So uh, there are more questions which I can ask, but we have with us Abhijit Sansgiri. He is also one of the co-founders of Bloom. I would ask him to unmute and ask any question if he wants, or say a few words.
Oh,
Abhijit.
let the audience speak. I think Usha is there. Let her
Yes.
speak her two
Dr.
cents.
Usha Narayan, if you're hearing us, if you could unmute yourself and also show us your pretty face, your comments, and a few questions if you want to ask Dr. Sohani and Dr. Vivek. By the time she can hear and she re-logs in or switches on her camera, she has joined us all the way from South Africa, and she
Oh,
is a former
lovely.
MP. She is a former member of Parliament of South Africa. So she
Oh,
was the
lovely.
guest on one of our shows very recently, just 2 weeks back. Alka,
Yeah.
you want to say something? Dr. Alka.
Okay. So first and foremost, I'm just charmed by your charms of Suhani and Vivek. I'm
Oh,
totally
sweet.
charmed by the love that you have with each other. It is so visible the way you talk, by your body language, and it is amazing the chemistry that you share with each other, Suhani. It was beautiful listening to both of you, and in an inspiration for all the youngsters today, to have a marriage like this, which is so beautiful and so full of love and affection, understanding, and I don't know what not. I don't have a single word for that. I have a question for Suhani.
Sure.
She said in between once that to carry on like this, you will never have an argument, and there will be no need for having an argument or a
Yes.
conflict. My
Yeah.
question to you, Suhani, is what's wrong with having an argument and what's wrong with having a conflict?
Not at all. In fact, it's required
Yes.
because, if your life, if everything that you get in your life is just like one straight line, you're going to get bored of it.
Absolutely.
If you
I
do
love-
not have the arguments, you don't have the fights, the little thing, oh, why the toothpaste is put in this particular manner? Why is it that the talcum powder cannot go where it belongs? Why can't the clothes go into the basket, the clothes basket? I mean, I love such arguments. I love such moments that we have. But when I said about arguments and differences, I've really seen a lot of youth today when they argue means, okay, relationship over. So I think that's what really it takes me aback, that how somebody who you love so much, you're putting in so much for that person is putting in so much for you. एक argument हो गया, खत्म बात, ऐसे थोड़ी हो सकता है.
Yeah.
So let me give you the other side of the coin.
I have to tell you, Vivek is the most dangerous guy. I can never speak to my mom also in Gujarati in front of him because he understands everything. And it just so happens that my mom, who used to love me so much, now loves Vivek much.
Yeah.
So I travel 10, 12 days in a month, not always, but sometimes. And I stay in a good and decent hotel. So when I come back, I always message that these are the few things which I wanted to be done. So Suhani tells me that you stay in 3-star and 4-star hotels, sometimes 5-star, and you're used to all those comforts. This is a home, you cannot get it. You can't have a valet and butler service and everything. But I keep demanding and requesting for it. Sometimes it is done. 9 out of 10 it is done. That one occasion it's not done. You have to just swallow it and be relaxed. Now coming to talcum powder. Coming to talcum powder, Suhani is an extremely good singer. She doesn't drink any alcohol, no mocktails and cocktails, and so much of hot water and intermittent fasting. I got a very sensitive nose. And the minute she puts so much of talcum powder, I get into a sneezing sort of fit. And when I'm fast asleep, that's the time the talcum powder gets done. And that wakes me up in my sleep. So we have all these differences, but there's a limit, to which way they don't go on beyond. One magic thing I want to share, and Alka, thanks for asking, is that we don't go to sleep before 11, 12 or 1 without making up. See, the 5 words which have really please, you cannot demand from each other. Suhani is not my paid maid or I'm not her paid butler. Please, thank you, may I, sorry, excuse me. These words you have to always request. It doesn't mean 34 years you can just demand. You have to always, with a request, with a farmaish, you have to talk. And she loves Urdu and these ghazals, and also I have to speak in the most kindest manner. No sarcasm, no raised voice at all. It doesn't work. She just switches off her ears. So
Since you mentioned it, Dr. Vivek, Suhani, one song, please. Song you like.
Deepak sir, one question.
Yeah.
Because this is really very, very important. Dr. Alka has really brought in a very amazing type of a question. And today we all are in this technology world, right? We have become so tech savvy that everything immediately comes on our status. I'm angry with Suhani on the status. I'm angry with Vivek on my Facebook status. I have had a bad day immediately on my WhatsApp status. So when we see the younger generation today, where everything is so much on the status, and as Dr. Suhani mentioned, healthy debates and healthy discussions are always welcome, whether it is about the talcum powder or whether it is about the, in my house, it is basically about the towel. Why do you put the towel on the bed? And why is the socks always not kept on the proper place?
Every house.
Every house.
So I'm happy, like it's majority. So I want to talk about the youngsters today. We have a lot which is happening with the recording system. If my husband, if my spouse, or if my in-laws kind of they raise voice and they talk to me, if they kind of do not talk to me with respect, I immediately start recording and I use this recording against them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
So
are
Yeah.
you
this
saying?
is where the
Really?
technology is taking the relationship, and then I become a big Meena Kumari in front of the Facebook status and in the social media. Ki, look, this is what is happening to me. Or
Yeah.
look, it is not only being Meena Kumari, it's also becoming a Manoj Kumar. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so then how do you tackle this Meena Kumari and the Manoj Kumar who are using this against and propagating a negativity actually towards the relationship? How would
Yeah.
you really address this?
Dr. Neeta, this is basically they are trying to garner support. See, when
Yeah.
you're fighting with your spouse, you are trying to get all your friends, family, and your well wishers on your side and create an army against your spouse. And that's very, I would say, childish, mean thing to do. These are small differences which can be worked out within the house, within the living room, within the four walls of the bedroom, and one has to compromise. You cannot have it my way or the highway.
Yeah.
You have to compromise. Suhani still
Yes.
puts talcum powder. I will get up and leave the room, or I'll shut my nostrils, or something or the other. You have to compromise. If I say something rude back, it's going to hurt her, and I have to say sorry.
Yeah.
So social media is not helpful where relationships are concerned, because you
Yeah.
will get really stupid advice. There will be pro people, there will be anti, and there will be confused. So
Yeah.
it's your problem. You have to work it out yourself.
Yes.
Right. Let me also share with you, in our early marriage years, we were in Pune living individually. And there are pluses to that, there are minuses to that. And Suhani was just learning to cook. Those days, STD was there. Poor Suhani was in the kitchen cooking. And then I didn't have a speakerphone. She would be calling her mom and the recipes. And sometimes she would be running to the kitchen stove to do the next few steps. And I was listening and passing on. So there's so much of fun, drama, and the ups and downs, but you have to share all of that.
Yeah.
And we are staying in a joint family. It's a multi-generation family. My
Wow.
father's going to be 90, my mom's 89. Our boys, we have also gone ahead and adopted children, though not formally. Found a lot of youngsters who have called us their parents, mom and dad. Lost things. There are nearly nine of them, six girls, three boys, and that really helps where we stand. And they are all of different age groups. So you have someone who's 34, 36, right down to 21. They come over whenever they are here. They have number of meals. We've had also Priyanka who stayed with us for number of years and things like that. And but just to tell Dr. Anita back, the best way to get the house tidied is to call guests.
Yeah.
So quality of food goes up by 45-50%, and you have a lot of guests. The socks get clear, the towels go on the rack, and we insist that the guests use different toilets. So everything comes neat, and the
Yeah.
children also love it. Different conversations. See the good old dinner conversations where mobiles are kept away. And when guests come, it's impolite to take your phone out. We've had guests who have come for lunch and stayed even for dinner, and
Wow.
not gone for 8, 9, 10 hours. And I realized in those 12 hours, my children came and sat in those conversations and just listened to our guests.
Yeah.
So those meaningful lunch and dinner conversations really, and it's not, why should we be impacting upbringing to our children? A child belongs to society, and a society can teach our children. It's up to the children then to pick and choose what they like and to take that ahead. But
Yes.
exposing children to different people of different age groups, art, musicians, politicians, actors, writers, ordinary people, even how to address the help in the house. We don't call them servants. Help in the house, how to address them. Some of them, one particular help, Umed Singh has been with our family for 44 years.
Wow.
My children call him Umed Singh Ji.
Yeah.
giving him respect because he's seen me at the age of 8 or 9, and we're taking it from there onwards, right? So giving love, respect, recognition for small deeds. We celebrate their birthdays. Being it could be that some of them are just 6 months with us, and we bring a cake and cut a cake for them.
Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for sharing, Dr. Suhani and Dr. Vivek. We have with us two very, very senior people who are our well-wishers and our patrons also. We have Brigadier Sushil Bhasin with us and Harish Mehta with us also. A few, Brigadier sir and then Harish Mehta ji sir, both.
Okay, thank you, Deepak, for this opportunity. I'm so happy. I think I have connected with Vivek after many years. We've been into contact, but we've not really interacted very intimately. And of course, I've not known Suhani, and I didn't know anything about what Vivek and Suhani have shared. But in these very casual conversations and all the humor that we've also enjoyed, I think there were gems of lessons. And I only feel bad that there are only 14 people here. And even in the beginning, there were just 22 people. I think the whole world needs to listen to these stories, because today's generation will not even value these type of things.
Yes.
Because like what Suhani said, that little message in our generation, the message used to be no return ticket. And there were some extremes there. I've also seen in my family some people who tolerated nonsense all their lives and probably didn't live a good life. So that was one extreme. But today the extreme is like the fuse is not there at all. There was one thing called tolerance. There was something that, you had to tolerate each other. You had to sort of accept each other as they are. And today, it is so amazing that a person dates with a girl for 3 years, they get married, and within 2 months, they are divorced. Because, as I said, marriage is not an extension of a date. It is no longer restaurants and parks.
Yes.
When you get married, gas bhi khatam hoti hai. So there are little things that you're sorting out, and there are responsibilities. And also, I think I really salute the female gender in totality in the world. They leave their complete background and come and settle down in absolutely a new environment. And then if a man says, now listen to me, please listen to her also. She is totally changed. Now don't expect her to change here also completely, which I have also been guilty of in the beginning. But it is very soon in my marriage that I realized, I started sort of empathizing. I started getting into the shoes that, see, she's totally changed. Her parents' environment in the house was totally different than ours. So as it is, she's adjusting to other things around. And if I also want her now to change according to my fads, no, I need to also change. I need to compromise. And that word compromise, which Vivek used, is very important. You have to compromise. It is not collaborate. It is not compete. It is not avoid. Avoidance is also, so if you study the system of conflict resolution, everything comes back to that the best solution in a conflict is compromise. Both the parties feel that they had to give in something and take something. So nobody feels that I was used or, I've been bullied into this sort of decision. So I think excellent. In fact, if this recording is available, this recording would be of immense value to anyone who wants to understand relationships today. Fortunately, every wedding anniversary, I stand in front of my wife and I salute her. And I say, thank you for tolerating me for, and the last time it was 43 years, it's still going strong. So the point is, long marriages last only when you have that understanding.
Yes.
That understanding is very important. And what what Suhani and Vivek have shared is excellent. A lot of lessons one can learn from them.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brigadier sir, for sharing your experience. And just on what you said, I remember this story where this wife was always complaining to her husband that you have changed. You are not the person I had married. The poor chap gets up and said, after I married, you've decided that I will not go out. You will decide I will not smoke, I will not eat, I will not drink alcohol. These are the people you will not meet. And now you are saying that you have changed. You are not the person I'm married. Hariji, your experience, a few words.
Yeah, Vivek, what should I say? I know you so well now.
Thank you.
And Suhani, always proud of you. That 10 plus years I've known you so well, from inspiring conversations to today. We have been great friends and we have known each other. We are fond of each other. We have traveled together.
Yes.
Yes, Brigadier Saab, you are 43 and 38 years married. And there are so many things that I heard both of them speak. And so proud to share this, that they have been open enough to share. Vivek, I think 1 million plus likes from me doesn't need more likes. And you guys are great. You have done well for yourself. Suhani has done superb in her life. And you are a strong social couple. You have got a great message to give, not only to the older people, be it Rotary, Lions, Giants, or the BNI, but even to the younger generation. Tolerance is a beautiful word which came from you. Accepting tolerance with pleasure, joy, happiness, delight was so forthcoming. And I love these words coming. And I would love to share this in our Inspiring Conversations community, this video, the recording that we had today. We have more than 100 plus members, a very strong community where our great friend Rajesh, Vivek, me and the others are a part for the 10 plus years.
Yes, yes.
So you guys are great. And Suhani, keep the smile on, keep serving, keep holding your hand on his right shoulder. Don't let him run away faster because he wants to run fast. And keep him.
Absolutely.
And I love the way he dresses up, his blues, his pinks, his
Yes.
greens. Yeah, he's a great guy, fascinated. Love you guys. Bless you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Coach,
Hariji.
I don't know how you could spot, but one of my weak points, and you brought it up. I walk faster than Suhani, and she always tells me, walk slowly, walk slowly. So I said, have you seen Indira Gandhi used to walk ahead and Rajiv used to walk behind?
Yeah.
So she says, stop being Indira Gandhi, just walk with me. But I would like to talk about the first week we came back from our honeymoon, and we were, completely. We still have stars and hearts around our eyes, but we were decided to go for a midnight date to the Taj Mahal for a late night coffee. And standing in front of us in the side lobby was Dr. B.K. Goel, reader of books. I worked with, and there was no internet in 1995. I told Suhani, join your hand. Said we just returned from our honeymoon. We're embarking on life. So I have had 17 mentors. Suhani has had another about 8 or 9 mentors in their life, our lives, to guide you at various stage where you go to various people's house and meet them on a one-to-one basis, personal, take their advice, take their feedback, tell them about your ups, downs, about business, work life, emotions, social life, and their few words of guidance have a deep impact. So I don't thank my mentors on Guru Purnima day. Whenever it is their birthday, I always, but throughout the year, 365, 1/4 days also, thank the 17 mentors in my life and 8 mentors in Suhani's life who have sort of shaped. So we always have a motherly figure, a fatherly figure to, bounce off. You need a soft board where you can bounce off your problems, grievances, difficulties, gray areas. And once you get a third empire to give you a different look, a different perspective, you come back on channel, back on the track to move smoothly together. So mentors in relationships are extremely important. They are easily available. All you have to do is ask them for their time, and it should not be done in a public place. Sorry, you have to respect the mentor, find out the time he or she is available, not in a coffee shop. Go to their house, meet them, touch their feet. This is what I love about North India. I've traveled to North India for 6 7 years: Allahabad, Lucknow, Chandigarh, Ludhiana, Jalandhar. The first thing youngsters do when they meet any elderly person, it could be mama, mami, chacha, chachi, or anyone, or their grandparents, nana, nani, they touch feet. Even if you disagree with a person, you should start with first touching feet. That shows humbleness. It takes the paunch and the tummy in, and then you sit down and sit and listen to your mentor for undiluted, unattached advice. Because sometimes, Facebook will give you a lot of your group people will give you, I would say, colored advice, which will not give you the correct thing, decision which you need.
Yeah.
So before we end the session, something from our Bloom team for the beautiful couple. And this is not from the Bloom books, but it is from Rahat Indori. Okay. And Rahat Indori is definitely very, very famous for all the loves, romance, the pain, the pleasure, and the passion of love. So for the beautiful couple here, Surat Sitare Chand मेरे साथ में रहें, सूरज सितारे चांद मेरे साथ में रहें, जब तक तुम्हारे हाथ मेरे हाथ में
रहे. Yes.
शाखों से टूट जाए, शाखों से टूट जाए वो पत्ते नहीं हैं हम, आंधी से कोई कह दे कि वो औकात में रहें.
Yeah.
So love and more blessings and a lot of blissful marriage. Definitely this session has not been a session of only for the relationship. This is also a corporate lesson. Yeah. A lesson, how do you take care of your employees?
Yeah.
How do you build a real holistic culture in the world today? Yeah. So thank you with a deep core from Bloom team to both of you, and ending and the last statement from Deepak sir, because we have already crossed our timings, Deepak sir.
Yes. So it is 45, what, 1:45. It is 1:45 on a Sunday afternoon. We are way past lunchtime. Everybody has still, all the people are there still in this room. We will shortly allow everyone to go and enjoy that time with their family. However, 1 minute to you, Suhani, for that song.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll sing. This is a song which is Vivek is very fond of it, and he used to, even when we were dating each other, he used to always ask me to sing this song. So since it's Valentine's Day, and I would really like to dedicate this song once again to him, which I've dedicated over 1 million times. Well, बड़े अच्छी लगती है क्या ये धरती, ये नदी, ये रहना और तुम.
I'm sure his reply would be in another song. हम तुम्हें चाहते हैं, मरने वाला कोई जिंदगी चाहता हो जैसे. What a way to complete a Valentine's Day program. Thank you so much, Dr. Suhani and Dr. Vivek, for giving your time, for gracing our platform. Looking forward to more collaborations and connections with you so that we can help in our own way, make the world a little bit of a better place. We can't change it totally. We will try to make it just that little bit better. Thank you everyone for
I
joining
want to
in.
acknowledge Mr. Stanley, who also was joined in and a mentor to my son Jay. And when we traveled abroad, stayed in his room. Stanley, thanks for being here with your wife. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Stanley,
you.
and everyone else who joined in for this program today.
Yes.
Thank you,
Thank you so
everyone.
much.
Happy
Have a great day.
Valentine's Day
Happy
to
Valentine's
everyone.
Day. Love
Happy
for all, and
Valentine's Day. Start
yes,
loving your own
yes,
self and
yes,
shower
yes,
that love to others, and you will see the ripples which is getting created. And
yes,
this is
yes,
abundance. Isn't
yes.
it,
Thank
Harish
you.
sir?
Yes, 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 yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everyone. God bless. Hoping to see you again on
Sure.
next Sunday on another Talk Bloom show. Thank you so
Sure.
much.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank
God
you.
bless.
Bye
Bye.
bye. God bless. Bye
Thank you.
God
bye.
bless.